Nearly every cell in your body, not just neurons in your brain's master clock, contains its own independent molecular timekeeping mechanism, a feedback loop of genes and proteins that oscillates with remarkable precision on an approximately 24-hour cycle. This discovery, honored with the 2017 Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine, revealed that circadian rhythm is not simply a behavior. It is written directly into our genetic machinery at the cellular level. The core molecular mechanism generating circadian rhythms is a transcription-translation feedback loop involving specific clock genes, most centrally period, abbreviated PER, and CRYPTOCHROME, abbreviated CRY. These genes are transcribed into proteins during the day. The resulting PER and CRY proteins gradually accumulate in the cell, and once they reach a sufficient concentration, they travel back into the cell nucleus and inhibit their own further gene transcription, creating a self-regulating negative feedback loop that takes approximately 24 hours to complete one full cycle. Jeffrey Hall, Michael Rosbash, and Michael Young were jointly awarded the 2017 Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine for their decades of research, conducted primarily using fruit flies, isolating the specific genes responsible for circadian rhythm and precisely mapping the molecular feedback loop mechanism by which these genes regulate their own expression on an approximately 24-hour cycle. Their discovery revealed that this fundamental molecular timekeeping mechanism is remarkably conserved across evolutionary history, with closely related genes and mechanisms operating in human cells as well. While nearly every cell in the body contains its own independent molecular clock mechanism, the suprachiasmatic nucleus, a small structure within the hypothalamus that receives direct input from light-sensitive retinal cells, functions as the body's master clock, using light exposure information to synchronize and coordinate the timing of these numerous independent peripheral cellular clocks throughout the liver, muscles, and other organs, ensuring the entire body's diverse physiological processes remain temporally coordinated with each other and with the external light-dark cycle. When peripheral clocks throughout the body become desynchronized from the master clock and from one another, as occurs during jet lag, rotating shift work, or irregular sleep schedules, this circadian misalignment is associated with a range of documented negative health consequences, including impaired glucose metabolism, increased cardiovascular disease risk, and disrupted hormone regulation, since organs including the liver and pancreas depend on properly timed circadian signals to appropriately regulate metabolic processes throughout the day and night cycle. Individual differences in chronotype, the well-documented tendency for some people to naturally prefer earlier sleep and wake times, morning types, while others naturally prefer later sleep and wake times, evening types, are substantially influenced by genetic variation in specific clock genes, with certain gene variants associated with a measurably longer or shorter natural circadian period, which in turn shifts a person's naturally preferred sleep-wake timing earlier or later relative to the standard 24-hour day. Twin studies estimate chronotype heritability at approximately 50%. Social jet lag refers to the chronic mismatch between a person's biologically preferred circadian schedule and the schedule imposed by social obligations, including school and work start times, a mismatch that is particularly severe and well documented in adolescents, whose circadian clocks naturally shift toward later sleep and wake preferences during puberty, creating a poor fit with traditionally early school start times. Research links greater social jet lag to worse academic performance, increased obesity risk, and elevated rates of mood disorders, motivating recent policy pushes for later school start times in several regions. The discovery of the molecular clock mechanism revealed that circadian rhythm is not simply a behavioral pattern learned from environmental cues, but a precisely engineered genetic feedback loop operating within nearly every cell of the body, coordinated by a master clock in the brain. This deep biological foundation explains why fighting against one's natural circadian timing, through shift work, jet lag, or chronotype mismatch, carries such real, measurable costs to health and functioning.